Everybody. Welcome to another Real Estate Unfiltered. And we've been doing this, oh geez, I forget how long now, Mia. It's been quite a while, once a week for, is it like 20 or 30 weeks now? It's been a while. And I'm glad we've been consistent with it. Basically, the concept of why we're doing this is because a lot of times people have similar or the same questions. And we just wanted to be able to answer the questions. Now, here's what I always say, I am available for any questions as well. And I spend hours talking to people and about all these various things. So this is kind of just a tidbit, and sometimes people don't feel comfortable. They want to do their own research. They don't feel comfortable coming to me first. So this is a little bit of information. And of course, you can come to me first, but just like you go online getting information, this is just to give you a little information. Okay, so let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about Airbnbs. And it's interesting. So Mia comes up with the topic, and it's interesting that it said that the topic was, and I love this topic, Mia, but that it used to be a gold mine and it isn't. Honestly, I started an Airbnb a long time ago before it was really as popular as it is now. And I had a house that was I could rent, and it was October, which was harder to find a tenant in October. So it was one of those chicken or the egg. And I thought, I don't know anything about this Airbnb thing, but why not? I'll just post it up. I have no furniture, but I'll just put it up. And it was in Lawrenceville. And I thought, I don't know, maybe people for Children's Hospital, if you're familiar with Pittsburgh and Lawrenceville. I had no idea what to expect. And it must have been a Wednesday or something. Remember, I was volunteering at my kid's school. It was a long time ago. I mean, it could have been 8, 9 years ago, maybe longer. And I just posted it without any furniture, and lo and behold, a Steelers game was coming up that weekend. I hadn't even considered the fact that someone want to stay in Lawrenceville for a Steelers game, but there's limited places for people to stay at the time, and not many Airbnbs. Now, this is how much it's dating myself because people would say, I don't, because I'd say there's no furniture. And they'd say, I don't care as long as you have Wi-Fi. So that's how long ago it was when people needed Wi-Fi. People didn't have unlimited like they have today. And that was interesting. I thought, okay, we'll bring a pop-up bed as long as we have Wi-Fi. So that was funny. But we rushed. And if you're, again, familiar with Lawrenceville, Mike and I we went to the consignment shops and just busted our butt getting beds and furniture and all kind of things. So we did that. And I got to tell you, it was never a gold mine. That much I'll tell you. But it can seem like a gold mine because you're getting $100 a night, $200 a night. So you figure, wait a minute, this house is getting what? 3,000, 4,000 a month. I mean, that's a lot of money back then for a house in Lawrenceville. Now they run it for 2,000 or more. But at the time that I was getting $100 a night, they were running out for 1,500. So that's pretty good, right? And it was in many ways. It really was. Why I finally gave up on the challenge was that you have to do all the people have to review you, and you have to be on constantly, and people change your mind. I mean, it's running a hotel, right? And I realized for myself, I would rather just have someone in there all year who, have a few problems maybe here and there. But I thought the amount of time I had to put in and the pressure, I mean, nothing's free in this world, right? Now, I will say a good friend of mine, she does what's called arbitrage. And that is, she will rent the space. Let's just say she rents a space in, we'll go back to Lawrenceville for $700 a month that someone's not doing anything with anyway. And she'll say, okay, I'll pay you 700 a month and I'll Airbnb it. I'll do all the work and then I keep whatever profit. So if it ends up generating 3,000 a month, then she keeps 2,300. But again, there's a risk involved there too, right? Now, in some cases, I think there's an oversaturation potentially in Airbnbs. I don't know because I personally am not doing them anymore. So, anybody watching this, I would love also to get any more feedback on your feelings on it. I will say this, how you put in the post, how it's more complicated. There are many townships that do not allow Airbnbs at all. I know Shaler, I'm not sure if they changed the rules, but last I heard, you are not allowed to have an Airbnb. And they are cracking down on this. So the city of Pittsburgh, as of right now, it's okay. And the reason they do is because sometimes you have these suburbs with these little cul-de-sacs, and people just don't, neighbors don't want people in and out. And they don't want people who aren't, a lot of people might be out of town or whatever that are keeping track of, I don't know if I'm frozen, but of the property, and they don't care as much as someone who lives in the home. So yes, can you make a profit? Yes. Is it a lot of work? Yes. So nothing's free in this world. Is it worth doing? Absolutely. I mean, everything's worth trying and then see what you like or don't like about it. And I will add this, you'd be surprised by the people who come and what they're looking for. When again, this was Lawrenceville a long time ago, and it was like I thought it was all going to be correlated with Children's Hospital, and very few was. I mean, there was one, it was a politician that was coming for a conference from Rochester. I mean, there's just a lot of interesting, unique people. And for many, it was interesting to host. And then some were a little bit, disappointed. Where's the orange juice? Because they thought Airbnb. Okay, I didn't have orange juice, but I did have coffee. Okay, any questions, Mia?
Yes. Our first question is, for someone considering Airbnb today, what signs would tell them the property is truly a good short-term
Ooh.
rental opportunity and not just an idea that looks profitable on
That
paper?
that's a really good question. So, I will say that, of course, you have to not run the numbers. So, just like when you run it otherwise. So, if you're getting, again, if you're expecting $100 a night and it's not going to be full every night and you have to pay for cleaning, I mean, unless you're doing some of that yourself, like for a period of time, I did that myself, but you got to clean, and there's high expectations of these people with Airbnbs, right? So, like, picture if you've stayed in an Airbnb, what your expectations are. And mine are a little bit lower now just because I'm trying to be kind and I understand. But if someone doesn't have an Airbnb, they can be pretty brutal with the feedback. Like, I stayed in a lake in Indiana and I thought it was very nice. And people are commenting that, it's a beehive. Well, you're on a lake in Indiana. And it was affordable. So I was not brutal about it. Um, but you have to do the numbers, first of all. And also, very importantly, you have to make sure that that township, the rules of the townships, and they change, the other things they change. So you might say, well, I want an Airbnb. I want to do an Airbnb here, and those rules can change. So you want to make sure that, you're checking the zoning and you're checking everything. And those are things I want to add that as an agent, I'll help out as much as I can with that, but you got to do your own legwork as well. So these are good questions to ask because in case, I don't think to ask it of you or the township, you need to make sure that you ask these questions if that's something you want to do. Find out what the rules are. And the beauty now of Gemini, I'm a big AI fan, and is that you can just ask AI. But of course, there's nothing that replaces a human being and professional. So, and AI is not always right. So it's just a tool. It's just a tool. But at least it might remind you, hey, go check with what are some of the rules, and they'll say check with the township. Anything else?
Yes. One last. What specific departments or documents should a buyer check to confirm that short-term rentals are actually allowed, and how can they protect
Oh,
themselves if those rules
you
change
have a
after
really
they
good
buy?
question. These are a really good question. Well, I would get directly in touch with the township or the city or whatever area you're in. I would reach out directly and get something in writing from them. I wouldn't take any chances. Like I said, you could always Google it or research an AI, but personally, I would want something in writing from the township. And again, that can change. So keep in mind, if it's okay now to do an Airbnb and they change that, are you okay renting it full time? Are you okay, selling the house? I mean, you have to have a backup strategy just like everything else. So just because rules can be changed. So keep that in mind too. Anything else?
That's it, Jordana. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And as always, just, reach out to me anytime. Text is probably the best, but you can call or email. And, I will do my best to answer any questions. The best thing is always to do is sit down, whether it's an office, a coffee shop, your house, and really have these discussions. I found that when I meet people and sit down first instead of just running around seeing stuff, it helps with everything. I mean, just spend that hour asking these questions, right? Because if you don't, you just say, I want to go look at this place, I want to put an offer. I might forget to ask those questions, right? So I might forget to tell you this stuff, or you might not write it down. So yeah, and look, I'll take responsibility. Sometimes it's spring market and I'm going crazy and I don't offer to sit down. But if you can and you remember and I don't offer it, please just say to me, hey, can we get together in person? Because I am only human as well, and I am not perfect either. So I think that's it, right?
That's it.
Okay, great. Well, we had another great session, and as always, I am here for you and your real estate needs, 22 years experience, and not only as a real estate agent, but as a property investor, and I've done Airbnbs, and I've done a lot of things. And if I haven't, I'm pretty sure I know someone or can find out someone who has. So don't ever be worried about reaching out. Don't ever be embarrassed or anything like that. I'm pretty non-judgmental. All right. Have a great day.